What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy Judgmental Podcast,
What's up, everybody? This your boy Phil.
and I'm Leroy. So, as I already figured anyway, that this was going to be our Eagles season finale. The Eagles lost last night in a I was about to say wild card playoffs, 32-9. I give you some quick stats, and you give your opinion. On the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts 25 for 35, 250 yards, one touchdown. Rushing DeAndre Swift, 10 carries for 34 yards. Receiving, Devontae Smith, 8 receptions, 148 yards. Goddard, 4 receptions for 21 yards. A whole lot of people had 3 and 4 receptions for a little bit of yards. Devontae was like the Eagles pretty much. On the Buccaneers side, Baker Mayfield, all world, 22 for 36, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. Rushing, we have White, 18 carries for 72 yards. On the receiving side, we have Otten, 8 receptions, 89 yards. Moore, 2 receptions, 66 yards, one touchdown. Now, what are your thoughts on this game?
Shitty performance, shitty officiating, shitty coaching.
Uh-huh. So before the game, there was an article on ESPN. ESPN staff writer Tim McManus, he covers the Eagles. He wrote an article, "Why has Nick Sirianni struggled to rally the Eagles?" And here's a little quote here. On top of those struggles, Jalen Hurts' desired direction for the offense has not materialized, which has been a source of disappointment for the franchise quarterback. According to a source with direct knowledge of Hurts' thinking, a disconnect between the visions of Sirianni, Hurts, and offensive coordinator Brian Johnson has affected the offense's ability to land an identity, the source said. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is Jalen Hurts' fault. Okay. You
What's Jalen
signed
Hurts' fault?
let me get to it. Okay,
You didn't say. You said I'm gonna say. You got to
I'm
say
gonna
what his
say
fault
this is
is.
Jalen Hurts' fault, and I'm gonna tell you why. Jalen Hurts, he had a
You're supposed to
250.
say what his fault is. You never said what
I'm
his
about to
fault
tell
is.
you. I'm about to tell you what it's his fault. I'm
You're
gonna get
supposed to say what it is and then explain why it's his
let,
fault.
let
You
me let
skipping the
me
whole
fit.
part. All right,
No, I'm
go ahead.
not.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jalen Hurts got $255 million contract. It was the highest of an NFL the highest in NFL before Lamar Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So okay, last year he went to the Super Bowl, so he got an NFC championship and he was in the running for MVP. Why the hell are you not stepping up and saying that there's a problem with the offense and change it during the offseason? Why? And there was a play. It was in the It was in the second quarter where they did one of them bullshit screen passes. I think it was a third down, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. So he had to punt. So he did the play, and the receiver dropped it. I don't remember who the receiver was. It wasn't Devontae. And they they zoomed in on Jalen Hurts, and he had a dejected look, and he shook his head. My thing is, see, this is the point I'm making. If you was dissatisfied at the play, it was a bullshit call to call in on third down anyway. Why'd you do the play? Why you just didn't say this is bullshit and went up to the line and changed it? You're the franchise of the team. You're one of the highest paid players in the NFL. Why are you sitting back and just letting them just do
Well,
plays
he's
and you're
still
not saying
well,
anything?
well, he's still young. He's still unproven, so he
Well,
probably
that's
don't
no
have the
excuse.
knowledge yet.
That's no excuse, Philip,
It
because
is. It
you're
is
no, it's not because you're the
because
franchise now.
you show me one young quarterback that's under 25 that's calling their own plays
He's
and
26.
changing the coach plays.
He's 26, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're mistaken. Like those proven
Okay,
quarterbacks do it all the
he'll be
time.
26 in August. But no, that's not a point. Okay, there's a point where you're just going to have to step up and be the man. You was the man in college, so you already know how that acts. If they're making plays and you don't like it, why are you doing the plays and then have a dejected shaking your head look? I didn't get that. That's confusing. So that's why I said the
No, you
reason
don't
why
blame him for that.
the offense
The
is not
players run the
flowing.
coaches. The player run the coaches plays that they call.
Okay, so
Every
you mean
now
to
and then
tell
you might get an audible, but you can't do that all game
Okay,
and a
so
whole
so
bunch of
are you
times.
telling me that you are you telling me that the franchise, the highest paid player in one of the highest paid players in the league, your franchise quarterback don't have no pull on the team? Yes or no?
Not to call his own plays, no.
So he goes to a play and then he knows the screen passing is a bullshit play. You think it's just okay to still run that play?
I think he's going to run that play. Yes.
But you
Do I
already
think it's
know that.
okay? I think you need to fire your offense coordinator if you call him bullshit plays. You don't blame your quarterback for that.
No, they're
The
saying
quarterback is going
that
to run the
they're
play. They're
they're
going to
saying
run the play
they're saying
until
that they're saying that this has been
it's
going
called.
on. They're saying that this has been going on since the beginning of the season.
Because he didn't like the way the offense was running, and nobody liked that.
Okay, you're the franchise quarterback. You're not going to make any changes?
He can't.
Why can't
He
he? He's the
can't because he can't.
franchise.
It doesn't matter. You got a head coach and you got an offensive coordinator. They're going to call the game the way they want to call it, and you got
No,
to run it.
no, I'm sorry. I don't buy that. You're not just going to sit there, and that messes me up. You're not going to sit there.
That's
If I'm
like
the highest paid player and one of the highest paid players in the league and the franchise quarterback, you're not going to mess me up. If I look at the playbook and I don't like how the play direction is, I'm going to go up to the coach and say, "Hey, can you do blankety blank, blankety blank?" And if that don't work, I'm going to the GM and
now
saying,
you now
"Hey,
you
look, blankety blank, change this. I don't like how the way the offense flow. It's too many such and such. Do this and do that." In the beginning of the season, I'm not talking about in the preseason. I'm
and how
sorry.
you know he
I'm
didn't
not.
do that? How you know
Well,
he
from
didn't talk to the
hearsay,
higher
it
ups
did.
about it? I'm talking about the higher ups. I ain't talking about changing the calls in the game because now you sound like the dude Jamie Foxx character calling his own plays, doing his own thing. You can't do that in real life.
Okay,
What was that
so
movie? Any Given Sunday.
yeah, but okay, you said how you see how come he didn't do that, but they didn't do it because he still had a dejected look. So obviously he didn't do it.
Well, I'm saying he's not going to call the plays in the game, but he can speak to higher ups and say how he don't like the way the offense is going, and that's what he did.
No,
He even spoke
well,
about that in meetings. I mean, press conferences.
press
He didn't like the
conferences.
direction of the offense and all this shit.
Yeah, but press conferences, you're not really getting a whole
And it's hard for him because he got a relationship with the offensive coordinator, and that was his quarterback coach, and he know his dad and all this shit. So it's hard to throw him under the bus like that when he pretty much like your uncle. You got to
it's not
separate the two.
it's not throwing them under the bus if they could sit together and devise a scheme that fits Jalen Hurts. That's not throwing him under the bus.
I'm talking about going to higher ups and talking. What if he did that? We don't know what he did behind the
He
scenes.
didn't
What if he
do it
did that
because
in the
they.
offensive coordinator and the offense said, "No, I got this."
Well, then that's when I say you got to go over his head. Then if
Well,
that
that's what
don't
I'm
work,
saying. How do you know if he did?
I don't buy that he
You
did.
this is the offensive coordinator's first time as being an offensive coordinator. So if Jalen Hurts didn't like what he was doing, but you know some of these offensive coordinator and head coaches are stubborn and it's their way of the highway. So he said, "All right, I understand what you're doing, but this is what I want to do." And what if on small talk with Howie Roseman about how he don't like the direction it's going, but he ain't gonna do nothing about it. Here, well, this is the guy Howie Roseman picked, so he gotta pretty much give him the opportunity to fail or succeed.
I think if it came down between him or the franchise quarterback saying that changed the direction of the offense, I think Howie would roll with the franchise quarterback. If it makes
Well,
sense. Now if he's talking about some goofy shit, I give you that. But if it's some stuff that actually is actually makes some sense, I would think he would roll with his franchise quarterback. You're not getting
I
rid of
would.
Jalen
Well,
Hurts.
you hired this guy to do his job, so you're gonna let this guy do his job. And if he can't do his job, you're gonna find a replacement. But you're not just gonna take his job away from him because the quarterback say he don't like it.
That's not
If this
taking his
guy,
job. That's not
but
taking his job away from him.
this guy got a game plan. It's a shitty game plan, and he want to call the plays. He's gonna call the plays that he like. If it don't work, it don't work. But he's still gonna stick with it. The same way Chip Kelly did. Chip Kelly had a high scoring offense. Offensive players don't get a break. Yeah, that shit worked for 1 or 2 seasons. After that, it was done. Everybody worn out and tired.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I don't think he did any of those things.
You
Jalen
don't know.
Hurts.
You can't say he
He,
didn't
he
because you
he
don't
didn't
know.
because the offense
You
is the
don't know
same.
that. You don't
Okay,
know that because he
okay.
could have spoke up, but the head coach, I mean the GM probably was like, "This is our guy. Y'all need to work it out."
And another thing, ladies and gentlemen, the Judgmental podcast need to be on television because Cowboy Troy last night said the same things at the end of the season. He had the same things that Phil and I said in the beginning of the season. He talked about Cowboy Troy talked about Hurts' knee injury. No, no, Mr. Troy, he had that knee injury before the beginning of the season. He never, when he run the football, he never went in second gear. He just always stayed in first gear. That knee injury was not from the
Well,
inside the game.
didn't he hurt his knee last year, but he came back and played?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hurt it last year. And then he might have then tweaked it again in the preseason or early in the season, but didn't say nothing about it. We can tell he didn't have the burst. He couldn't get away from nobody. Last year he was breaking tackles and he was running for long yards. He didn't do none of that shit this year.
Yep. Yep. He's been hurt since the beginning of the season. I guarantee you, and Troy said that I guarantee you at the end of the season that they're going to talk about him having surgery on his knee. Yeah, because he's been hurt already before
And
the
I
beginning
already
of the
seen two
season.
reports before the game. They said first they said it was his finger he might not play. Then they said he's still dealing with a knee issue. I'm like, oh, now they want to talk about it. One of these articles I was reading online, they was saying he had a knee issue he was dealing with. Nobody else talked about that except us.
Yep. So your WIP, you listen to WIP, right? Is one sports channel or two?
There's one channel I would listen to.
Is it WIP?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, they need to be on. We
I
need
mean,
to
when
be
I
on.
had the Sirius radio, I was like fucking all over the place, fucking cruising. But now I think it's just WIP.
Oh, what they have? Oh, you listen to national sports on series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We definitely need to be
When I
on.
got the when I got the truck, it came with like I don't know 6 months or something. You know how they
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely need to be on television. We called that from the beginning of the
Well, shit.
season.
The same thing that Shannon Sharp was talking about. It was the same shit that I was saying to myself and saying to you about why is we don't have a running back in the back? Why are we going five wide instead of max coverage when you see they blitzing us and they're sending an extra guy and we got nobody to cover them? It made no sense, and they just kept doing it over and over,
Well,
lining up
like,
with five receivers and no running back in the backfield or no extra blocking, knowing they
well,
blitzing every goddamn play.
like Cowboy Troy said, it was stupid because they stacked the line. Buccaneers stacked the line, and I guess they figuring is, well, our running back is not going to be able to run because there's an extra lineman on the line. So we'll just pass the ball. That makes no damn sense. And like
Right,
Troy
and
said,
you don't even give the illusion that you might run it. There's no running back there, so it's 100% guaranteed you're passing.
right, and like Troy said, Emmitt Smith wouldn't have been a Hall of Fame running back if all they did, if they seen the extra man, they'll just pass the ball. No, you got to hand it off to your running back and let him run.
Hmm.
That doesn't make any sense.
And I was arguing with one of the doctors today because I told him that face mask penalty on the goal line push,
Yeah.
that was bullshit because the ref was standing right there. He damn near ripped his head off and the ref ain't call it. And I know he saw because he was standing right there. He said, "Oh, that wouldn't make a difference. Yeah, 2 points or whatever. Okay, whatever. It still would have been a penalty, and we still would have got points out of it." My thing is, we shouldn't have left points off the board. It was one time when we was in field goal range, but they got a penalty, so they made it 5 yards. So now we want to go for it, get shit out of it. Then another
Yeah.
time with the 2 points. What's the big difference from going getting 11 points from 10 points when you're still down was by six, it was 16. It would have been 16 to 10 or 16 to 11. What's the difference? Just take the points.
Well, these guys, they all into that
Yeah, that shit is
analytic
stupid. That
shit.
shit is stupid because if you got to if you go for 2 points is harder than an extra point. Take the extra point. You're still down by two score. I mean a touchdown. You get. I mean, sorry, you get a touchdown. You take the lead.
Yep.
So what's the difference? You down by five. You still need more than a field goal.
Yep. So, other than, well, I'm gonna ask you, what changes you want to see next season? Well, in the off season, I'm sorry.
Fire the head coach. I don't think it's going to happen, but they did a poll on WIP for the fans, and it was like 85% of the fans said fire Sirianni. So fire
Hmm.
the head coach, fire the offensive coordinator, and fire the defensive coordinator.
What
Bring
about?
back
Okay, I'm sorry.
bring back your running back, draft a cornerback or a safety high, and draft a linebacker high.
I don't
Offensive
think.
lineman, I would pick a free agent when whoever's the top free agent offensive lineman out there. I would pick him up. Hopefully, it's a center or somebody to replace Kelsey, or I'll just talk to Kelsey and be like, "Look, man, we're going in a different direction. Can we get you for one more year?"
Well, your boy going to slide in his spot. What's the guy name? The one that was hurt, had all those injuries before he came into the league, but he's been playing well on the Eagles. Oh, what is his name? He'll slide into that spot. See, they drafted a good offensive lineman. So somebody goes down, somebody else can fill in. I forget his
Well, we
name.
always do that, but the young bull ran down the field like 3 times and got penalties on for us. And he's supposed to be starting next year. Shit, we in trouble. It
I don't.
was ineligible downfield. He down there before the receivers down there. Like, what the fuck is you doing, fat boy?
I don't think that DeAndre Swift is coming back here.
No, because they don't want to pay him.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's going to be Gainwell, Scott, and they'll draft a running back.
Oh,
That's
and Bradbury and Murrow, they can't tackle for shit and they need to go. It was rejects from their other teams. Bradbury played good last year. I don't know how he go from good to shitty in 1 year.
Now, did he have problems tackling
Big
before?
time.
Okay.
Oh, you talking about on his other team?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He tackled good last year. He made the Pro Bowl last year. He was one of the top corners in the NFC last year. So how you go from you know what I think? I think they the coach lost the team. So everybody was giving like a piss poor effort. It was obvious these guys couldn't tackle. It was guys running right at him and they would jump out the way and try to do like an arm bullshit tackle instead of
Yeah.
just hitting the dudes. So when they don't want to put it all on the line for the coach, that means they don't have faith in the coach. And when a coach lose a team like that, it ain't no need on bringing that coach back.
Yeah, like I said, like they all just mentally quit. Cause okay, you had problems tackling. Let's just say you had problems tackling last week. Don't you think this week in the playoff or wild card playoff game that you're going to do a better job? And the
Well,
same
shit.
shit was happening.
Look at what's the name. You know he pissed off Hassan Reddick. He was still in coverage last game so
Yep.
many times. I'm like, look at him trying to cover the running back, trying to cover a receiver. Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
One joint to do would have bust his ass because he burnt him, but he just dropped the ball. It's like,
And
damn, he shouldn't even been out there to begin with. Let him go after the quarterback. That's why Baker's sitting back there with all day in the pocket.
yep.
Let these if our corners and our safeties gonna get cooked, let them get cooked. Go after that quarterback. You don't use your best rushers to go after and cover in the secondary. That's idiotic.
Letting Baker look like a damn star, and they gonna get crushed next
Well, we
week.
did that. We did that with damn near every quarterback this year. I'm talking about Howe was looking like an MVP against us. All these quarterbacks. What's the little dude that run a lot for the other Giants? He was looking like a star with a perfect rating. Like all these quarterbacks that's mid tier or shitty was looking like fucking Pro Bowl quarterbacks against us,
Yep.
and that's all year.
Yep. And you seen the article that they were looking at that young hold on, let me
Yeah, the
bring
one
it.
you sent me.
Yeah, that they were looking at him. We don't need any no young dudes in here no more. If they had, okay, let's just say if they had do they have assistants? They have assistants, offensive coordinators, right?
Yeah.
Okay, get a older offensive defensive coordinators, and then have one of these young guys as like the assistant. Don't
hmm
keep hiring these young people or young person because they
Well,
don't know
see, the
what they're
young
doing.
guys, these young guys are in position to become head coaches, so they're not going to take an assistant role because that's a big pay difference between assistant offensive coordinator and offensive coordinator or head coach. Like they already said, our shitty ass dude, Brian Johnson, already got 2 head coaching offers or interviews.
Oh,
So
that's Cussy
they,
Blood. That's
no,
Cussy Blood.
they already said the one team already used the Rooney Rule, so they don't have to use
Why
him
would
for
they?
that.
Why would they interview him as offense coordinator? And the Eagles been stinking up the joint for like a month and some change.
Because they were saying it on the radio. They was like, we're the only ones that think Brian Johnson is the worst offensive coordinator. And he already got calls for 2 head coaching. And you can't say it's the Rooney Rule because one of those teams already used that. You know what I mean? So they don't even have to invite him for
I,
an
I don't
interview.
buy it, brother. They just trying to check a little quota they got. I
Well,
don't buy it.
the thing is, he was real good as a quarterback's coach. That's what they're trying to say. He was real good as a quarterback coach. So
Mm.
that's why he slid right over and became the offensive coordinator. Most of the quarterback coaches become offensive coordinators than head coaches. So it's all in the way the system normally flows anyway. It flows up like that.
Uh, uh, uh,
So if we made it to the Pro Bowl, I mean, we made it to the Super Bowl, and he was the quarterback's coach. if we didn't make him our head offensive coordinator, he would have got a job somewhere else as an offensive coordinator because he was like highly valued because he got us to the Super Bowl. So teams still like that. Look at Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was shitty, and he still got what 2 more chances in the NFL before he was back in college.
Yeah, he's white, and Brian Johnson is black.
Right, but you just used the black card talking about that's why he getting interviews when they sat there and
Yeah,
said that's not the reason.
that's what they just told you, but that's the reason he's black,
Well,
and that that
if one team already brought in a black dude to interview, that means they don't have to bring him in. But another team is still bringing him in after they already interviewed for a black guy, so they don't
yes,
have
you
to.
can. Yes, you can, because you can say, "Hey, look, we interviewed 2 black guys, not just one."
No, no, no. To make your quota, you only need one.
Yeah, we just did 2 black guys, and we did
No,
better than the other
no.
teams in the league.
If they felt that way, they wouldn't have gave no
I don't
interview.
buy it. It's cause he black. And hey, look, take a head coaching job. That's just better for the Eagles. So now they know they definitely gonna have to get an offensive coordinator. The guy is Bobby Slovic. He's from the Houston Texas, the offensive coordinator for Houston Texas. So he's sought after because of my boy CJ Stroud. I forgot to give him props too when we was talking about sports. A
Well,
young
they said,
quarterback that had not throwing that many interceptions. I think he had like 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5
mm,
this season. Good shit.
well, that's what I'm saying. He's on the same trajectory as our boy Brian Johnson was because he took a young quarterback and won all them games and the quarterback looked good, but then this year he fucked up when he got the spot. So these young boys, that's how they is hit or miss. If I would take I would take a young offensive coordinator, but then I need a veteran defensive coordinator. I'm not doing this rookie shit again, or vice versa. I don't want no. Actually, I don't want no rookie defensive coordinator. I would take a rookie offensive coordinator again, but I need a veteran
Hmm.
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I was looking at the people commenting about Slovic. They said, well, of course he used CJ well, and I can't understand going from one coordinator job to the next, especially if they win next week. He's a head coaching prospect. He's not an offensive coordinator prospect.
Exactly. Well, that's how it is. He's offensive coordinator right now, right?
Yes.
So right. So his next promotion to be a head coach. And Brian Johnson was a quarterback coach last year, so that's why he became offensive coordinator this year. And if we'd have kicked ass this year, he'd be a head coach next year. That's the way it worked.
Yeah, Brian John. I don't buy. They just going to. Hey, look, go in there and show your thing. Maybe you might get hired, but they only giving you an interview because you black. It's fine
No,
though.
it ain't. No, it ain't.
And people are saying Vrabert from the Tennessee Titans.
You sure know how to fuck a name up, boy. It's
Yeah,
Vrabel.
yeah. Okay, the former coach of the Tennessee Titans as a coordinator for the Eagles.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I take him. He don't need to be a head coach though, but damn, he was like the coach of the year last year, or was it 2 years ago?
I don't think he was neither one.
I thought he was either one head coach of the year or was in a running for one.
I don't
I
think
might be
so.
mistaken, but
Yeah, it wasn't him.
I believe when it comes to Tennessee, I think they did that on purpose. I don't know. I'm thinking they giving these guys like, look, we gonna shut the season down. We'll give you an extra 2 million or something like that on the side because
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, by looking at I only can look at it by watching the red zone, and I can see they're better team than winning 5, 6 games. I think they won this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're a better team than that. They're not going to win anything or whatever. They're not going to go to the Super Bowl or nothing like that. But they're definitely better than 5 wins.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's a lot of thinking going on. These guys that do this shit because there's a quarterback that's come out in the draft and they really want that guy. So they fucking fake like they can't win. They that bad. These teams ain't that bad to be playing the way they playing. You see, they ain't want to give our boy no carries, but when they gave him carries, he fucking kicked ass.
yep, and they ain't do the same thing. They just settle him down, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't think he's coming back. And if he comes back, of course he's gonna want more money. Are they gonna give him more money?
Oh, I was talking about Tennessee's running back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was talking about DeAndre Swift.
Well, Swift too though, but Swift in the same boat though. They both in the same boat. It's like they don't value the running back no more. They think they can plug and play any old body in there, which is bullshit. When you got a fucking stud running back, you can ride him for about 4 or 5 years, and that'll open up the offense so much.
Yep. Yep. Because the last game they played, now going back to Tennessee again, which you was talking about, the last game they played, see, that's their wheelhouse. I think he got I think Henry got like 20, 23, 24 carries. I'm not sure. And Tannehill got like, I think he got like 18 attempts. That's the wheelhouse right there. That should be a heavily ran offense, and he should only throw when he has to, third down or something like that,
Hmm.
or play action pass and stuff like that.
Well,
That's when
that's
he.
like yeah, as they're phasing them out, and there's a lot of teams getting caught up in this pass happy offense and forgetting about the running back. Look at Dallas; they did the same shit that we do. No, don't expect establish no run, go down a whole bunch, and then you got to pass. And there's no reason for Dak to be throwing the ball 60 times. That's
Yep,
crazy.
yep. I had told one of my former coworkers. I showed him that video I sent you, that TikTok video with a guy singing about the Cowboys.
Hmm.
And I said, well, this was funny for like a day.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed it until we got our ass saying, "Whoa,
Right. Uh-huh. But yeah, well, before we go, we can give a shout out to only two people had joined us this season. We got Joe West Coast on the San Francisco game. We had Ryan Gutierrez from Arizona. Our old boys joined us on here. We ain't get anybody new this year.
mm,
Anything else you want to add?
no, I should probably reach out to my cousins for next season. They probably can get on. I got a 49ers fan and I got a Dallas fan. Of
Hmm.
course, they jumped on the bandwagon when the shit was rolling.
Oh, what you mean? Yeah. Who you talking
When
about
the
for the
40,
Cowboys?
my cousin, I got two cousins, Gary and my cousin TJ.
Okay. And what
And
about the San Fran?
and
Okay. And
he was
he
real
what?
young when he was cheering. He was real young when he was cheering for them.
Is
He
this
liked the
Montana?
49ers.
Okay, is this Montana or Steve Young?
Probably Steve Young.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they all everybody that's fans here, just like the Cowboys, everybody that's fans here was fans when they was all winning. It wasn't they was like a
Hmm.
losing team or whatever. And
Right.
for the older guys, the Cowboys was on TV every week. So and they was winning. So that's when they started liking the Cowboys because they was always on TV every week.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I call them fake fans. You from Philly, never been to Dallas, but that's your team. From Philly, never been to San Fran, but that's your team. Like, get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
Mhm.
Unless like your dad was a fan of one of those teams and you grew up because your dad was watching it all the time and cheering for them, then I can understand like that.
Yeah.
But other
Yeah.
than that, you got no reason to have. I need to know why that's your fan, and you can't just say, "Oh, because I like them." That is some bullshit. If you ain't from that city, that shouldn't be your team. It's one thing if you in a city that don't have a team. Then if you ain't got no team, you can pick wherever you want. I don't care. Some people say you got to pick the next closest team to you, but no, you can pick whatever team you want if you don't have a city team. You got a city team, you got to ride or die with them even if you don't like them.
Mhm.
I ain't no big Sixers fan, but I'd ride or die with them bums. And I got
Now,
no choice. That's the home team.
now is Jason Kelsey? Do you think he really retired, or this is a snap judgment?
Mm, I think he retired, but I
No.
think you can convince him to come back. Shit, the money gotta be right, situation gotta be right. If you could show him like we made some improvements, we don't know how he felt about Sirianni and the offense. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
offensive coordinator. What if he didn't like those guys? So you say, well, look, we got new guys coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a different thing because
He.
our offensive line, they want to run a ball. They prefer to run block than pass block, and our
Hmm.
offensive coordinator prefers to pass instead of run. So the offensive line probably hate his guts. It's easier to
He.
run block, and they love to run block. So why not run block?
Yeah, he didn't like him.
I'm sure he did. None of them guys like him. Why
uh.
the fuck is we throwing every down? They like the run block where they can just fucking smash my football. I'm gonna smash my guy, and y'all run through a hole. That's so much easier than trying to stand there on your feet and trying to block these fast ass defensive ends and stuff.
Now, what about Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham? Are they coming back next season?
I don't think so. I mean, they probably want to come back because I think they both was on 1 year contracts. It's probably
Yes.
not going to cost a lot to bring them back. I would bring them back, but
Mm-hmm.
like I said, if they cost a lot, then no, I wouldn't bring them back. But they don't cost nothing. You got to fill backup roles anyway, so why not bring them back? If they
Right.
want to take a low pay, what they would do because they know they're not, elite anymore. If they'll take a
Right.
low pay, I'll bring them back because they're good in the rotation. You don't got to have them on every down, but they're still good.
Mm-hmm. This year he had 3 sacks compared to 11 last year, but that's an asterisk on those 3 sacks because he was in pass coverage. So they're going to look at that and say, "Hey, you up in age?" I don't know how old he is,
Well, they
but
can't they can't really say that because these guys are like what's the name? They're older, not making a lot, so they're not going to demand a lot. It's one thing when somebody trying to get money and they have a down year. You know what I
he'll
mean?
he'll be 36 by the time the season start. No,
Yes,
that's what
but
they'll say. That's what they'll say.
I don't
Well,
think so.
no.
No,
Yeah,
they'll say that
yes.
the Swift in a heartbeat. They'll say that
Yeah.
the Goddard if Goddard needed a contract, shit like that. But these guys that's older, that's not expecting a big payday, they can't use that as excuse. They just you could probably pay them with the going rate is for a veteran a little bit more than the rookies, and they'd be cool with that.
Well, see, there you go, because they can get somebody else that's a lower value, that's younger, and they'll use these 3 sacks against them. Hey, you had 11 last year, now you only had 3. That's just a downturn. You on the wrong side of 35 now. You know that type of
Yeah,
shit.
you could usually say that when it's a player that's still demanding a big paycheck. You don't like when you start giving out all your leaders and you don't have no leaders but all young bulls in the locker room, you asking for trouble. You still they don't value veteran leadership, but you still need that veteran leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for the veterans to do shit when you got a defensive coordinator don't know what the fuck he doing. We got Brandon Graham, we got Hassan Reddick, and what's the other fat boy? All three of them dropping in the coverage. It made no sense.
Yep.
Fat boy can't cover damn my daughter, and he dropping in
But
coverage. What's his name? The defensive end.
I know
Uh,
um I forget. But my thing is, what I want to know is what's the thought process behind that.
the thought process is he know his corners can't cover for shit, so I'm gonna try to get him some help. But you're giving the wrong help. You need fast linebackers that can do that. You can't use defensive ends like that and defensive guys that go after quarterback. Those guys ain't built for that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah,
And
you
we
got
don't
you have
like
to
like
find a
like
better
like
way.
Dean would have been cool. Edwards, they let Edwards go. TJ Edwards, our guy, we drafted. He finally became a good player, and they let him go.
Mhm.
Uh, what's the little white dude that we had? He got over 150 tackles. He was fast. He can cover, and then they let him go. When you don't got those guys that's fast and can cover the field, you in trouble. And we didn't have that.
Right. So are you going to give N'Kobe Dean another shot?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he 2 years ago he was the Buckets winners, the best college linebacker. It ain't
Right.
his fault he keep getting hurt.
Right.
But I would give him one more year. You get hurt again, now it's time to not think about him.
Okay. All right. All right, y'all. This is the season finale of the Eagles. Yes, we disappointed. Nah, I ain't really all that disappointed
I mean,
because
we
the
knew it
hell
was
they've been
coming.
losing. Right, they've been
Yeah.
losing for a month and change. I already knew this was going to be the season finale anyway.
And
They've
and
been
in football, you can't play coy and just be bullshit and then turn it up for the playoffs. If you bullshit your way in the playoffs, you're gonna be out of the playoffs real fast. So we knew it was coming. Even if we'd have won this game on some luck, we'd have got trashed the second round playing like this.
right because and Detroit is not even better than the Eagles. Detroit are like pretenders, like the damn Dolphins, but they'd have lost to Detroit
Hmm.
because Jared Goff would have been throwing up and down the field.
Hmm.
Yeah. Right, y'all. You can reach the Judgmentals on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube at PNL Judgmentals, Instagram at the_judgmentals, or you can email us at pnljudgmentals@gmail.com. All right, Phil.
All right, y'all.
And
Peace out.
all the TV stations or whatever, even the radio. Look at our first episode of this Eagles podcast, and we tell you that Jalen Hurts was hurt. We ain't talk about Miami now.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
We said it
uh,
early in the season. He just didn't have that burst. He couldn't cut. He was all tenderfoot and shit.
yep. And then when he threw it, he always had that dejected look on his face, like something was
Mm.
wrong. So yeah, he was hurt.
They was hiding his injury.
Yep. My thing is, if you a detriment to the team, I don't believe in that just playing. If
Well, I
you're
say that all the time. If you're gonna play, you need to play at a high standard. If not, I'd rather
exactly,
you sit on the bench and get healthy. If you
exactly,
really hurt and you can't do what you need to do, you need to sit down and get healthy. We'll play the backup. We'll run the ball 150 times, even though they probably would have just made the backup throw 150 times.
right.
But still, you don't place injured and we just keep losing. Like, get healthy if you got to get healthy.
Okay, let's just say for an example, okay, it did come out he was hurt and he got surgery in the off season. I don't know, uh, uh, April, May, somewhere like that. But he had to sit out 8 games before he can be healthy. Would you be
God
cool with
damn.
that? Yeah, would you be cool with that?
Yeah.
Marcus isn't bad. Marcus can win you games. But like you said, if you heavily run and you don't put Marcus in a position where he throwing the ball 35 times and all that stuff, you can win
Mm-hmm.
games. Because
Yeah.
he was in Atlanta last year and didn't they go on like a streak and
Yep.
almost
He
made
was
the
playing. He
playoffs?
played good. He played good, and I was surprised that they took the starting job from him
Right.
and they gave it to Rittler or whatever. But Rittler's not the answer either. I think they were just fucking around trying to lose on purpose. That's why they took it from him.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he was quote unquote hurt and they
Yeah.
put okay and they put
Yep.
him
And they
the
put
quarterback
Rittler in.
right and then he just left the quote unquote left the team, which they just paid him off to leave. He ain't just like,
Yeah.
well, look, I ain't showing up
Mm-hmm.
anymore. If he did that, he would have never been on the Eagles. If he'd have just said, well, look, I'm not showing up there anymore. They paid him money to go away, like you just said,
Yep.
so they can tank, so they can get a draft pick.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
All right.